Hi everyone. Welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, Korona Route, Episode 7. So, Korona already confessed to Akito, but she feels that Akito does not really like her. And in the last episode, she was brainstorming ideas with Hinami and Sai about what Akito likes. And it's like, well, maybe he likes full-grown ladies with a nice chest like Hikari and Orihime, and they went underwear shopping for something that makes Korona look more like an adult versus a little child. So that's what Korona thinks that Akito sees her as. So right now we're at the Meikou Academy, and this is a celebration led by Honoka and Orihime for Korona's admission to Mako Academy. And because it's close to Valentine's Day, most of the items that people brought are chocolates. And it's kind of like a Valentine exchange for Akito at least, and maybe Keisuke. So let's see how it goes from here. And it's like, well, if we're going to have all these chocolates, then we're going to have to return the favors on White Day. I'm sure Akito's going to get the burden because I'm sure most of the girls are giving chocolates indirectly to Akito. Well, he's smart. I really want to learn from his example. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not as smart as Keisuke.
いいのよ別に男性に期待する方がどうかしていますからコロナも一応チョコは持ってきてるんだけどはいアキにバレンタインだよ
So, Korona's chocolates are directed directly for Akito. She gives me the chocolate looking fairly embarrassed. Oh, so is it really for me, not for everyone?
いいに決まってるでしょはい
She pushes them onto me, not giving me a choice in matters. Like, come on, just take it, please. Okay, thanks. And she's only giving me chocolate because I know her feelings, so it kind of felt a bit special somehow. And you can see Korona looking a little bit worried and blushing.
もうそんな目でコロナを見つめないでコロナドキドキしちゃうよ
Sorry? Wait, what am I doing in front of everyone?
コロナのチョコはアキニの分しか用意してないのみんなごめんね
So, it's for Aki ni only.
いいっていいってそうですねもともと好きな男性に渡すものですし
自分のことは気にしなくていいですよ他の皆さんのをいただきますから
Well, hopefully it means that Akito only has to return the favor to Korona on White Day versus all the other girls. So close friends didn't fret over such trifling matters. But I noticed how out of place it is for Korona to give chocolate to just me. Wait, so does everyone know?
多分むつら星のネットワークって結構広いから
Well, I'm sure Saya knows personally. So I look around at everyone one more time, and it looks like everyone is imagining what is going on between Korona and me. Hey, so stop it, all of you. So everyone looks somewhat embarrassed. So it's obvious that everyone is imagining it when they had that look on their face. Anyways, so this is Korona's acceptance party, so let's just celebrate. And I pretty much forced the change. And there are... So things are still awkward, but that could not be helped. So all there is left is to enjoy the party and wait for the excitement to die down.
これが噂の写真集ですか
Korona is showing off the photo album that I gave her. Wait, so rumor? So wait, what kind of rumor?
ハッブル望遠鏡から撮った写真か。これってかなり補正入ってるんだろ？
補正しないと厳しいものも多いですからね。
So everyone has their own opinions, but everyone here respected the telescope for its amazing achievements.
美しいですわね。宇宙の果てにこのような光景が広がっていると思うだけで胸躍りますわ。
So even if the photos have been altered, these photos are without a doubt celestial bodies taken by the Hubble. So even though it's artificially colored in, it's still a representation of what the Hubble saw. So speaking of the corners of the universe, so Korona, can I borrow the book?
はい、どうぞ、アキニ。
Korona lent me the book as I looked for the photo I wanted. Oh, so here it is.
一体何ですの？
So it's the Hubble Extreme Deep Field, also known as HXDF. It's an examination of extreme deep space. And that's what currently NASA is looking at. So we've already seen what we could see in the near space, so let's go further out in the universe. And this here is the fruit of our desire to know deep space. So Hubble Deep Field started in 1995 and repeated its mission multiple times after. And if you take an extremely long exposure photo, you would capture the dim light from the depths of space and put it all together to make a picture. Okay. So Hubble has succeeded in taking such photos at the edge of space with long exposures. So HXDF is a picture of space deep in the Fornax constellation, just like the Hubble Ultra Deep Field that was taken from 2003 to 2004. However, the Hubble Extreme Deep Field is an even longer exposure of just a single part of the Hubble Ultra Deep Field.
長時間って一体どれくらいなのかしら？
So how long did they keep the shutter open? Okay. So they kept the shutter open for about 10 years.
断続的とはいえ、22日間分も開けてた。
Oh, actually 22 days, but they've been doing these deep field images for 10 years. Okay.
そんなにすごいことなの？
天体撮影じゃシャッターを開けっぱなしにするのが基本だけど、それでも22日間分ってのは異常すぎる。
So keeping the shutter open for 22 days is quite a unusual achievement.
10年間で小分けにしたとしても気の長い話ですね。でもそれが一体どうしたっていうの？
長い時間露光するってことは小さな光を集めて映し出すってことだ。
The darkest celestial bodies shown in XDF are about 1/10 billionth darker than the light a normal person can see. And it's said that they're more than 10 billion light years away. That light is teaching us about space that's far away.
もしかしてなんだけど、この一つ一つが銀河や星雲なの？
Yes, so these countless scatter lights are each a galaxy. So there are roughly 5,500 galaxies shown in HXDF, and the enormous number really conveys how extraordinary large this universe is.
本当だ。ちっちゃい銀河がいっぱい。美しいわね。色とりどりにきらめいて。
So it's all an endless vision of the universe. And looking at such spectacle, I had to wonder just what is out there.
ちょっと待って。水を差すようで悪いんだけど、これは色付けしたやつだろ？
Well, that's already given.
そうなんですの？
Wait, Sonare is right. So Hubble can detect 3 different types of light. So this is synthetically processed. So they added color in later during post-processing. So blue from ultraviolet, red, infrared, and green from infrared, as well as the data from visible light. Sure, so the color is altered in the photo, but it doesn't change the fact that it's always there. And there are kinds of light other than visible light that cannot be seen, even that can teach us a lot. So there are things that we cannot even see. And knowing that just added the mystery of it all.
そうだよな。目に見えるものが全てじゃないか。
So you're exactly right, Nare. So I think it's stuff like this that makes it really interesting.
わかってるよ。それより、案外熱くなれるやつだったんだな。
I think Nare is also interested too. And that made me blush a little bit. And I'm getting a little overexcited about this.
目に見えないものか。
So things that we can't see.
コロナさんにはピンとこないかしら。見えないとよくわかんないでしょ。目に見えなくても身近なものはいろいろあるわよ。例えばこれとか。
So Orihime takes out her phone as she says this.
スマホ？
So what about a smartphone?
スマホの電波は目に見えないわよね。
Okay.
テレビの電波も目には見えません。そうか、電波って言えば。そう、電波望遠鏡よ。電波望遠鏡？
So it looks like Korona doesn't know what that is. Well, the average person probably don't know much about it either.
電波望遠鏡は電波を捉えて宇宙の様子を調べる望遠鏡のことよ。目で見る光でなく、電波で見てどのようになっているのかを探るんです。
So you know how the atmosphere gets in the way of observations because it's between the surface of the Earth and space, right?
ああ、お天気が悪いと星が見えないみたいな。
That's right. So if it's cloudy, then you can't see what's beyond them, but it doesn't affect radio waves.
つまり、電波は見えないものを見せてくれるんだ。あらゆる障害を貫き通す神のごとき目。それが電波望遠鏡ですわ。
Well, maybe not every obstacle, but radio telescopes are able to observe many astronomical phenomena that we normally can't see. And the technician, Karol Jański from Bell Laboratories is the first person to realize that there are radio waves coming from space. And he notices that emissions coming from the Milky Way and made the world's first radio telescope. Radio telescopes gather faint radio waves from space. After analyzing the data collected, we are to make observations about celestial bodies. So radio astronomy is able to make observations of things such as interstellar gas that normal telescopes can't. Hubble is also an attempt at overcoming observational limitations by physically putting a telescope in space. But radio telescopes still use a different approach and are able to show us a different view of the universe. So Korona, do you know anything about the Nobeyama Radio Observatory?
野辺山って確か地名だよね。駅が一番高いところにあるって聞いたことある気がする。
So Korona has heard some facts about it. So there's a national observatory up there and it has a lot of radio telescopes.
はあ。コロナちゃん、これが野辺山の天文台だよ。
So Sai shows a picture on her phone.
これ見たことある。でっかいパラボラがたくさんあるんだよね。
So the 45-meter wide radio telescope is Nobeyama's pride and joy, so obviously Korona would have seen it. And there aren't many people who know that or what they are researching there, though.
すっごいな。電波望遠鏡か。
And it would be cool if we could go there for a field trip one day.
い 私も一度行ってみたかったんだ。
I want to go there too, says Narie.
でもあそこって見学させてもらえるものなんですか？できるようです。通常公開とは別に年に一度特別公開も行っているとか。
So there may be one day where they will allow public access to this place. So Honoka has looked that up quite quickly.
せっかくなら特別公開に合わせたいわね。いつ8月の下旬ですね。毎年土曜日に行っているようです。
Okay, so there is a day where they let other people access the observatory. So let's see what Honoka had to say previously.
できるようです。通常公開とは別に年に一度特別公開も行っているとか。
Okay, and
せっかくなら特別公開に合わせたいわね。いつやっているのかしら。
okay. So Nobayama seems like a giant place, or great place for stargazing.
なら企画してしまいましょうか。むつら星の会夏合宿を。
And just like that, everyone got excited for the camp. And I couldn't get enough of the unstoppable energy. So it's a stimulation that you cannot really get stargazing by yourself.
あきに、コロナすっごくワクワクしてきちゃった。
Me too. Everyone here feels the same.
なんかいいね、そういうの。
Yep, and it's going to be good. So it's still a half a year away, but we are already dreaming about Nobayama. And I wonder what that enormous radio dish is receiving. And what kind of mysteries of the universe is it solving? Okay, so now we're in Akira's room, and for some reason, Konona's back in here studying, despite the exams over. Such diligence. She's studying even after her entrance exams. And I could not help but feel impressed, so I opened my notebook to study as well. Well, encouragement to get Akira to study. So they studied for a long time. And you wouldn't believe that she had been focusing on so hard by how sleepy she looks now.
お布団にゴロンしたいとこだけど、寝ちゃいそうだしな。
Well, you can sleep for a while, and I'll wake you up.
誘惑に負けそうだけど、ぐっと我慢するよ。
Okay?
アキ兄に変な寝顔見られるのやだもん。
You look funny when you sleep, so you don't like me looking at you sleeping, right?
わかんないけど、変だったら困るでしょ？
Maybe this is just feminine modesty. It's like, well, I don't want to look bad for Akini. So what are you studying? So you finished your exams, so why do you feel like the need?
ああ、それがね、こういうやつを渡されちゃったんだ。
So I think it's like, well, I'm looking at my hobby, and it has nothing to do with my classes or such. So she shows me the worksheet that she's been working on.
入学前の課題だって。明光学院、そこまでするかーって感じだよ。
Okay, so you got in. So here's your summer homework, and you have to complete all this and it's due on the first day of class. So they're not going to give you a break. I'm pretty sure the actual classes will be much harder, and having this is like just getting you ready, or it's like, well, anyways, she's quite depressed. So it is a bit much to give homework before school even starts. Well, that's because Akira is going to like a okay school, and it's not as difficult or prestigious as Meikou Academy.
内容も超難しいんだよ。入学後にやるとこの予習も含まれてるみたい。
So basically, they don't have time to go over the easy stuff. It's like, well, you should have this all squared away before class begins. And so, well then. So I'm about to say that she had my condolences. And I guess I'm happy that Hoshidaichi is so laid back. But I'm sure it's going to be a big disadvantage for Akito once he graduates, because I'm sure the Meikou students, they'll be much more advanced, and when it comes to college, they're going to be much more ahead.
量も結構多くて大変なんだよね。だからまた普通に勉強させてもらいに来るから。
But I'm sure Korona can ask Orihime or Honoka about how they weathered through the difficult curriculum from Meikou. So the time for her to come here to study is supposed to be over, but it looks like it would continue for a while longer.
でもね、課題はめんどくさいけど、コロナはほっとしてるんだ。
And I think she's done with her homework.
用もないのに来るなんてやっぱり恥ずかしいもん。課題があればここに来る口実ができるでしょ。
So did she really want to come here so badly? Or basically she found an excuse to be here? Well, the reason why is pretty clear. So Korona had already told me how she felt.
迷惑だったかな。
So am I bothering you by coming here even after the entrance exams are over? No, it's not. So you're always welcome here.
もう告白の返事もまだなのに、そういうこと言っちゃダメだよ。コロナ勘違いしちゃうじゃない。
Korona is still waiting for me to tell her how I felt. Okay. And with her face like this, I felt like maybe I had faltered or failed as a man.
もうそんな顔しないで。コロナはいつものアキ兄が好きなんだから。
She says that she likes me with a smile. And she looks natural as she says this, totally unlike someone putting on a show. I'm sure that's Hikari.
何度も好きって言ってたら、それが自然になっちゃった。アキ兄がいないとこでもいつも好き好きって言ってるんだよ。
I see. Well, thank you for saying that you like me. And I wonder if I'll be able to say it so naturally like she can. And I want to tell her how I really felt without it having awkwardness or anything like this.
ってコロナキモくなかった？
So, am I a bother? Are you scared? Or are you freaked out? No, not at all. And I think it's very cute and girly. It's hard for a guy like me to feel that way for someone else. And I'm honestly kind of jealous of Korona, who could fall so much in love with me.
可愛いってアキ兄。
And so she's blushing like, well, you said that I'm cute. Well, it's true though, so you are cute.
もう褒めすぎだよ。コロナ真っ赤になっちゃうでしょ。
Well, you'll make me blush. And she's already bright red. So her reaction right now is cute as well. So I'm probably falling for Korona.
そうそう、信山のこと自分でも調べてみたんだよ。
Okay, so now that I have time, I'm looking up Nobuyama. And she's trying to get past the awkward moment by changing the topic with energy.
ああいうの電波観測って言うんでしょ。世界にはいろんな電波観測のプロジェクトがあって、日本の天文台もいっぱい参加してるんだね。
So the ALMA is one of the most famous examples of radio telescopes, but it's actually started by Japan's Nobuyama.
え、そうなの？チリの砂漠の真ん中にあるって話だったけど。
So the basic idea of ALMA is thought up by Nobuyama technicians. So many countries banded together and made the 66 parabolic antennas in the Chilean desert. And data is taken from each of the 66 antennas and put together to increase the observational power. and that's the idea behind ALMA. And there are similar projects like ALMA in the world, so let's see, VLBI also gathers data from different regions. And VLBI is short for Very Long Baseline Interferometry. And just like how ALMA used multiple antennas in the desert, VLBI uses different radio telescopes from around the world. And radio telescopes only receive signals depending on the antenna's configuration. Okay. So the basic concept is to use a radio telescope in different regions to gather data here or there. So one of the things that Project VLBI is trying to achieve is to map the Milky Way galaxy. And isn't that cool?
天の川銀河の地図。
So the Earth is inside the Milky Way galaxy, so we need to make observations on both sides or we will not be able to understand the galaxy in that exact moment. And because the Earth is in the Milky Way, it's kind of hard to see what the galaxy looks like as a whole. It's kind of like you're in a crowd, or like basically let's say like you're using a football stadium, like you're one of the players. So you can see around you, but you can't really see the overall picture of how the layout is or how the formation is, as opposed to someone that's in the bleachers. So besides, there are countless stars that overlap each other in the sky, so it's incredibly difficult to find out how many stars there really are. And there are roughly 200 billion stars in the Milky Way galaxy, but that is only an estimated number. So there are limits to what visible light could observe, and there are many celestial bodies clustered together. And that's why radio telescopes or radio observations are so important.
天の川銀河の地図、ハッブルの写真で見たようなあんな感じになるのかな?
Well, I don't know. Well, I think that it would actually be much better.
あれよりももっと?
So it's pretty hard to imagine. I could even come up with a visual, or could not. But it would give wings to imagination. And the information gathered by the radio wave observations would provide us with an image of the galaxy.
いいなあ、夢があって。
That's nice and lovely.
コロナもいつかそういうのに巡り会えたらいいのに。
So she whispers quietly. And a magnificent dream like mapping the Milky Way galaxy. It's not like everybody had one, but it would be exciting to have such a dream.
コロナには夢がないから、むつら星のみんなみたいに夢中になれるものがあったらいいのにってずっと思ってた。コロナにはね、みんながいつもキラキラしてて眩しく見えてたんだよ。何かに夢中になって打ち込むのってすごくかっこいいと思うんだ。アキ兄もピカリンも姫ちゃんもさやちゃんですらコロナには眩しかった。どうしてコロナはこうなんだろう。離れたとこから見てる感じでどこか冷めてて。
So that might be a kind of loneliness that only geniuses could experience. So Korona is a brilliant that she probably never really went through much hardship. She could easily clear what are big hurdles for other people. And maybe that's why she's unable to continue chasing a dream.
天文はね、いいきっかけかなって思ったんだ。
That's true to an extent. So you have to be interested in astronomy to be able to enter in.
コロナは面白そうだと思ったし、まだまだ知らないことばっかりだったから。周りにいるのはみんな年長者で、その後を追いかけるのは本当に楽しかったんだ。でも気がつくとコロナはまた同じことしてる。自分のしたいことやるんじゃなくて、人がしてることを真似してついていくだけ。
Okay.
このままじゃいけないって思った。ここで変わらなかったら 夢中になれるものなんて絶対見つからないって。だから自分で決めたんだ。タイゲタのコロナになろうって。
So she didn't consult anyone. And that's why I honestly is surprised by it. But I still didn't get it. Well, I know why she's deliberating about joining the astronomy club. So she's pondering that exact thing while she is studying for her entrance exam. And she didn't know if astronomy had actually captured her heart. And she believed that it would one day. She took a chance and got the courage to join.
それでね、アキに一つ考えてみたことがあるの。コロナにもできないかな、電波観測って。
So, is it possible for me to do radio astronomy? Well, I think she had decided to believe that she could find what she is looking for. And hearing how she felt, I gathered my courage. So that her wish could come true, or would come true. And that she would one day find the thing that she is passionate about.
アキに。
So there's a little bit of time before her bus comes. Oh, I'm sorry that I could not answer you immediately about the radio wave observation. And I'm not very knowledgeable about that stuff. That makes sense. I had no idea if someone could do radio wave observations by themselves.
いいよ、話を聞いてくれただけで。
But at least you heard what I had to say.
きっと無理だよ。延山のパラボラを見たでしょ。ああいうのは大きいところがやるんだよ。
So Hubble and Alma are the same as well. And the bigger the idea, it could become a national or even global project.
ごめんね、変なこと言っちゃって。さっきの話は忘れてくれていいよ。
And right as she seemed to find her dream, she is starting to doubt herself. And I know how this felt. Well, it's fine. And I can't forget about it though. So let's try to do radio wave observations. I'll help as well.
アキに。
So really? So it's clear to me that you want to find something to be passionate about. And it might only be an idea, but it might lead to something good or better. Something that you yourself can find and not something you are told to do. And is that the most important thing for you right now, Korona? So Orihime is the one who is the same, or who came up with the idea of going to Nobayama. And her parents are the ones who told her to go to Meikou Academy. And she had even started stargazing because that's what we are already doing. Well, I don't want you to give up on something that you want to do so easily.
そっか。言われてみたらそうなんだ。コロナが自分で考えて、自分でやりたいって思ったんだね。
So it doesn't matter if it's just an idea, let's just keep pursuing it. And that's how everything starts. Okay? And I'll help you with the radio wave observations. Rather, I want you to let me help you.
アキに、どうしてそこまで。
Well, isn't that the fact that I like you more than enough reason? Well, I'm sorry for taking so long to give you an answer, and that's if you still have me as your boyfriend.
いいの？
So it's okay?
本当に、それでいいの？
Yes. Well, a guy like me might not be the best for you, though.
それはこっちのセリフだよ。アキに。
But Korona's like, well, I want to be with you. And she could not hold back any longer and jumps straight for me. And I made sure to catch her.
だってしてもいいんだよね。
So can I hug you now that we're a couple? Of course. and I want you to do as well. Her body is small but surprisingly hot. So she's so delicate that I could crush her, but her core is strong.
コロナ嬉しすぎて泣いちゃうよ。
Well, cry as much as you want, so I'll make sure to hide you so that nobody can see.
そんなのやだ。隠したらアキニーの顔見えなくなっちゃう。
Well, I don't want to be hidden. I want to be in front of you. And she is filled with a lot of happy tears as she looks straight at me.
アキニー大好きだよ。
Well, thank you, and I love you too, Korona.
嬉しすぎる。
And Korona is now really happy. She's like, I have Akito or Akini with me. And so tears flow right down her face like a dam had just burst. And I pat her on the back as she sobbed.
アキニ
Well, I'm here.
ー。夢じゃないよね。本当のことだよね。
So it's real, so don't worry. And I waited for the waves to subside or recede. And only the stars are watching over us.
アキニー好き。大好きなの。
And I wonder how many times she's going to say this. She just kept saying it time after time as I held her. So the countless I love you are soft, sweet, and are melting my heart. So I wrap myself around her in the hug as I look up. Hey, look, Korona.
何？
So what is it? Let's look at the stars. It's a special night, so let's take a good look. And it's my first time watching the stars with my girlfriend on a cold winter day. The clear sky is so very tall and very far away.
息ついてるね。
So the white mist from our breath is mixing together as it rose to the sky. And it dissipated quickly, but
コロナとアキニーもついてる。
so our small laughter is echoing in the night sky.
ほら、アキニーここ見て。
Okay, so it's the next day in Akito's room. I see. So there are plenty of people doing it by themselves. Korona is using her tablet to look up information about radio wave observations. And then we found that there are many astronomy fans who are doing radio wave observations on their own.
でもこれ、宇宙からの電波を受信するのとは全然違うみたいだね。
Well, I think that's because you need to have a parabolic dish like the ones at Nobuyama.
そっか。
And she looks rather disappointed. But then she soon bounces back.
でも、こっちだって電波観測は電波観測だよ。
But it still counts as radio wave observation,
流
right?
れ星を電波で観測するのか。なんだかロマンチックだね。
So what we have found are radio meteor observations. We read about a school teacher who transmitted radio wave into space at a certain frequency for 24 consistent hours. Nothing happened during transmission, but if the signal would hit a meteor, then it would bounce back and they would get feedback. And once putting together all the collected data, you would be able to extrapolate information about the meteors, and that's how radio observations worked. So there's a lot of data here on how to do this by ourselves.
必要な機材もそんなに高くないみたい。
And it won't cost too much to buy all the required equipment. So the antenna, the transmitter, the receiver, and being able to connect this to... So if we get the right items, we could make the insurmountable price of astronomy into something fairly cheap. And a good equatorial mount, if you are to buy one, is a surprising amount of money. So the equatorial at Meikou is quite expensive, so you would be careful around it.
ああ、そうなんだ。いつも部室に適当に置いてあるけど。
But I'm sure it's like, if they don't buy one, they can find some other way to mount it. And that might be because they don't know how expensive it really is. I'm sure that they would be more careful with it if they knew the cost. So I wonder if that means that it breaks a lot and they have to fix it. And because they're rich, they don't really mind about the expenses at repairing this equatorial mount.
じゃあ、コロナが後でこっそり教えておくね。
And it wasn't something that you could just replace if you break. I almost wanted to say something about myself. So it's like, well, if it does break, they have to rebalance it, recalibrate it, adjust all the servos, all the motors, make sure it does function as it is and has no squeaks. So we're kind of digressed, but now we know that it's possible to do radio wave observations by ourselves. Okay, so back on topic.
コロナにもできそう？
Yeah, but it might be kind of hard for just the two of us. So why don't we ask the rest of the Six Stars Club for help?
賛成！こういうのはみんなでやった方が楽しいしね。
So there's no reason for us to try the impossible by ourselves. That's true. And it would be better if we all worked together towards one goal. Korona had helped only a little with the construction of Place 1, so this would be her first real group project.
やばい。考えるだけでワクワクしてきた。
And it's making Korona excited. It's like, I can't wait to see what's going to be like.
こういうのがコロナが求めたものなのかな。
Well, not yet. The fun is just starting.
これ以上楽しくなったらコロナ死んじゃうよ。
So what else can there be? It's going to be so exciting that I might die. Well, I almost felt like calling out everyone to get started right away. So, you want to get this going. It'll be cool and interesting and exciting. And the anticipation is killing me. So our February meeting is coming up. So I'll bring this up during that.
それコロナがしちゃダメ？やってみたいんだけど。
Oh, yeah, you're right. So you should do everything that you want to do. So you see Korona with stars in her eyes. And it's now my turn to support her. And thinking together, worry together, sweat together, I will support anything she wanted to do, well, with her and share it with her pain and joy.
あきに、ありがとう。なんだかいい感触だね。今からもう楽しくなっちゃってる。
Well, so are you starting to get passionate? So is it exciting you? And now do you feel that you have a part in the astronomy club?
まだわかんない。でも、多分うまくいくかなって。コロナ、ずっとそういうのないって思ってた。でも、昨日考えてみて気づいたんだ。勉強とか運動とか趣味とか、そういうのでは全然夢中になれなかった。でも、それはアキニーだよ。初めて会った時からずっと夢中だった。
I wonder when was the first time they met?
かっこいいなって思って、憧れて、好きになって、何年経ってもそれだけは変わらなかったよ。
Because the first time we saw Korona was way back in the childhood days when she was coming over to Hikari and calling her Pikarine. And it's like, well, my brother Take, or like Ni-chan, says that Akito is a really bad person.
アキニーに恋して、彼女にしてほしいなって思ってた。そのために努力もいっぱいした。ずっとコロナはアキニーに夢中だったの。だから生きるのがつまらなくっても頑張れたんだろうね。きっと 全部アキ兄に恋してたおかげだよ。
I see. So you're driven by something after all.
アキ兄の彼女にしてもらって、これでひとまずゴールは迎えたんだけど、まだ終わりじゃないんだよね。アキ兄とコロナの恋愛は始まったばかりなんだから。
So as she smiles faintly, Korona grabs my hand. She pulls me back lightly and we fall down.
この前は指だったけど、今度は。
So Korona wants to recreate that scene from before, and the first time it was by accident. It's like, well, now we want to do it the right way.
アキ兄、キスして。
So no more fingers. So the actual kiss. And we are in the same position as last time. And once again, she purses her lips towards me. And her lips are all puckered up. And just like before, she is shaking a little. Okay, hold still. And while I am on top of Korona, our lips touched. And I could feel her shiver through her lips. And I held the kiss a little more to help soothe her. And I quietly kept it going until she calms down.
アキ兄、これがキスなんだ。
Well, it's my first time too.
アキ兄もファーストキスだったの？
Well, you know that I've never had a girlfriend before.
そうだね。コロナがアキ兄の初めてなんだ。
And I'm sure that's going to make Korona happy. It's like, oh, so I'm your first? That's special. And I'm sure if this is some kind of superiority complex or not, I smile.
コロナの初めてもアキ兄だよ。
So same here.
なんかいいね、こういうのって。
And I think I understand how she felt. And now that I'm going out with Korona, I had known that we would end up kissing. But now that it had actually happened, it was so exciting and I could not help being happy.
アキ兄、もう一回。
So, more? Okay. So we went for a second kiss after the first one ended. And this time, I tried to enjoy the kiss more as our lips touched. And she wriggles around, and it's a cute feeling. Touching, and then separating, and then repeating. And Korona seems to be enjoying herself too.
アキ兄、もっと。
And before I got the chance to do anything else, she pushes herself onto me. So it's said that the more you touch, the better, so I went right for it. And it seems like she's using that perfume again today, and the fragrance is floating in the air. And I wonder if she increased the dosage to make it more prevalent for Akito. And it's like my body is getting hotter with the excitement, and the smell of the fragrance becomes stronger. Korona's familiar scent is tightly mixing with the perfume. And standing on her toes like an adult made her really seem like a grown woman to me. Wait, Korona, wait. And she gets up from my arms so that she could get some distance.
アキ兄、
So, anything wrong, Akini? Well, I'm sorry for getting so carried away.
調子に乗ってもいいと思うんだけど。
It's okay.
コロナたち恋人同士なんだよ。キスしてドキドキするのは当然だよ。
So, we're a couple, so it's okay.
それともアキ兄はコロナとキスするの嫌？
Or is there a problem? Well, it's not that. Actually, I'm just thinking that I wanted to kiss some more.
コロナはもっとキスしたいよ。で、 にも同じ気持ちなら、もうためらう理由なんてないよね。
She closes the gap between us again, and close enough that I could touch her face. No, actually, close enough for our lips to touch.
今度はコロナからしていい？
Okay.
やった。じゃあ目を閉じてじっとしてね。
And then I close my eyes, just as Korona had said. And my vision is gone, and I become just a little nervous.
アキニ、コロナはここだよ。
So it's kind of like they switch roles. She touches my head, she rubs it, and holds it like she is telling me that she is there.
では、改めてチューをするので。自分からするのってドキドキするね。キス待ちモードのアキニ、なんか可愛いし。
And it's making Akito nervous. Oh, open my eyes if he's just going to tease me.
ちょっと待って、ちゃんとするから。
Oh, so I go, well, do something, or I'm just gonna open my eyes and basically pressure Korona. So Korona is freaking out from my warning as she hugs me. She didn't give me the time to enjoy our touch as she kissed me. And there's no distance between us now. And when I open my eyes, Korona's face is right in front of mine. She wasn't used to kissing yet and is forcing it. And I wasn't used to it either, but seeing Korona try so hard makes me feel somewhat at ease. She's telling me how she felt using everything, not just her lips. And I hold her tightly, taking those emotions in. So what's wrong now? So, is it too hard?
そんなことない。
No?
けど、そこまで情熱的にキューってしてくれるなんて思ってなかったから。
So it's just a surprise. Oh, Korona, you're so cute. I want to hold you tightly.
嘘だ。
But... So I started dating you because I thought you are cute.
そっか。それもそうだよね。
She accepted my explanation. But I kept holding her in my arms. So, can I lead next time?
アキニーからってことは、つまり、あれでそれなやつ？
Well, I'm not really sure what that is. Just if it's me kissing you then.
それで正解。アキニーがコロナにキスしてくれるってやつ。
Wait, so how about this?
コロナはいつでもウェルカムだよ。いついかなる時でも、アキニーはコロナにキスしていいからね。
Well, I can't imagine absolutely any time would be okay.
それでもなの。それくらいコロナはアキニーとキスしたいんだから。もう、あんまりからかうならこっちから襲うよ。アキニーの唇、奪いまくっちゃうんだから。
And Korona's messing around and starting to say all these kind of things. And maybe she would just try to mark her territory on my lips. Well, that does sound interesting. Well, I'm going to kiss you though. And I softly said as I kissed her. And just a minute ago, Korona is making a fuss, but she has become quiet again. And her lips are like a switch to control her. She sweetly accepted the kiss in my arms. And just pressing her lips together is pleasant enough, but it began to change.
これ好き。
and touching and separating over and over again. And we kept kissing as I tasted the softness of her lips. Korona would immediately go on the offensive when she thought I am just putting in more effort. And that'll continue for a while until we found rhythm. Kissing feels good. Korona and I talked a bit as our lips are still wet from our makeout session. So what should we do? Do you want to make out some more? So Korona, who's always on the offensive, is pulling back for a change. Hey, you figured me out?
コロナだってそこまでグイグイ系じゃないんだからね。まあ、本音を言えばもっとアキ兄とキスしたいんだけど。ほら、調子に乗ってしすぎて唇がぷくって腫れたらやだし。今日はこのくらいにしといてやるかと。これ以上唇を酷使するのは勘弁してあげることにしました。ってことで、また明日キスしようね。
Only if you don't forget.
じゃあメモる。絶対アキ兄とキスするってアプリに書いとくから。
So I'll put it as a reminder. Okay, so we both better not forget. And I laughed as I wrote down on my calendar for tomorrow. Interesting.
カレンダーに直接書いちゃう?
And that makes me nervous. Okay, well, by putting it here, I won't forget.
コロナでもできないことを堂々と。アキ兄ってばやるな。
Well, that's because nobody's going to see this here. So only I look at this calendar.
そっか。この部屋に入れるのはコロナだけか。
Well, maybe my Miharu-san might see this.
絶対入れないでね。恥ずかしいから。
No Miharu-san, okay? Okay then. And our relationship has changed a lot after we started dating and kissing. But we could still chat like this after so much change. Our relationship has only improved as we moved one step forward. And I wonder what would happen to Korona and I in the future. And I can't even begin to imagine.
恋愛っていいね、アキ兄。
And these are sure to be the fun days ahead of us. A most exciting future is waiting for us. So we're confirming our love for each other by kissing. Okay, so this is a good place to stop for this episode. And we can see that the relationship has gotten better to the point where they're kissing. And if I do remember correctly from the Japanese version, an HT actually happens around the time when Korona tries to recreate the scene from before and have Akito do it properly this time. So the actual kiss versus the finger touch. And I do like how Korona mentions that, well, I want to do something special on my own and bring something into the astronomy club versus just following people behind. So she feels that she's only in the astronomy club because of Orihime and Honoka's enticement or their encouragement. It's like, well, by bringing something into the astronomy club, it's like I have passion for this and I want to pursue astronomy on my own from my own heart. And she feels that the same thing applied when she applied for Meikou Academy. And with regards to radio astronomy, it is a very interesting idea, but the one problem that might be an issue is that radiation. So I'm sure the antennas are really powerful, they use a lot of electricity, and that radiation can be really harmful to humans. So even though it's good to receive information or signal or data from far away in space, the fact that you have all this radiation, that's dangerous to human health. And I'm not sure if they are still doing radio astronomy. They might be doing it on a safer scale But I know they had to decommission some antennas because it's just too dangerous to be around. And I'm sure for radio antennas, they use really low frequency because those can transmit much further than high frequency, which tends to dissipate very easily. But anyways, I'm going too far, and we'll see how Korona's relationship with Akito continues next time.